up at the opposite 30. Can't move till the ball is fielded. And here goes Keith Mumphrey. And they're going to turn it around with room on the near side. And for the first time, they get creative. And the Battlehawks have the sideline. And a kickoff return for Joe Powell to the end zone.
Cardell Jones, they flip. Back to Rodgers, back to Jones. A man wide open down the sideline. It's Corey Lee. 5, goal line, touchdown.
Out of the backfield. Carter with Flux. Carter flips into the end zone. Hey, he told you he tapped. If he could get there one more time, he'd do a flip. Out of the pocket is Walker. Wide open is Mobley again. This time they connect. Touchdown, Roughnecks.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Four Downs, the CMG podcast, as we getting set for another episode of our off the field season, as I like to call it. But hey, we have some good news, and then we don't have that much good news, But XFL, CFL, maybe combined. Then you have Les Miles, who the past kind of haunted him. And Jim Harbaugh. Is he really the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines? Is he the right man for the job? Well, we got all those details with Big Jace and Sean Scanlon. Welcome aboard, guys. Let's get hit it real quick with the XFL and CFL. News broke out today that there is a chance that these two football leagues can combine. As they say, they could collaborate and innovate to something because they have their idea of an expansion. Both have the same vision. And I like your point of view here as to is this good for business or is just a not so good? So I'll start with you, Jace. What do you feel about this topic?
I think this is really good. I mean, when you look at the other leagues, I mean, you look across sports. You look at the G League. There's no real competition to the G League unless you're going across the seas. And in minor league baseball, it's all pretty much the same. I know there's the single A, double A, triple A, but it's still basically all the same. Still going to like a farm system and still all that stuff. But I like this a lot. I like having the secondary, I don't even know what to call it, of football being together. I don't want to see all these different leagues because then that just dilutes the pool of players you can pick from. So I like that. CFL is really big in Canada. I mean, we see how big NFL is when they go across the pond. So I like them coming out saying they want to make it more global. Because there's football fans around the world, and while we see it as a very United States heavy sport, it is global. So I would like to see them use that connection with CFL, and then move on and get it, globalize it. But I do think the big thing here is it coming together and making that one league under the NFL, pretty much.
Well, I don't understand when you say under the NFL because NFL has nothing to do with this league.
I understand.
No, this ain't no franchise like you explained, double A, single A, whatever. That's all developmental stuff. We're talking about professional football players that more likely are the ones that maybe didn't make it to the main roster in the NFL like they have done previously to be in this league and actually have a face. Now, we've been talking about this before, Sean, about having a face of the league, and Joe's been preaching it all along. Do you think this is it right here? We're going to actually see a face in the picture for the XFL and CFL?
I hope so because I mean I think it is very important to have a developmental league, for and they might not have any ties personally, directly to the NFL, but I think it's important, for guys who don't get a chance in the NFL, some, undrafted guys who still want to play, professionally, so they have, a platform to go out and, prove their worth because I mean we've seen it with some players even in the short XFL season. We saw a guy like PJ Walker, who got the chance. He made it to the, Panthers practice squad and then moved his way up, and we even saw him in some NFL action. So I think it's important. And then I like what Jace was saying about making it more of a global sport. Obviously football is a very American centric sport, but I think like other sports like soccer, basketball, baseball, they're starting to globalize themselves all over the world. So I think it's important to build your brand, not just in the US but go into other nations, including, Canada, and maybe even expand upon there. But I think it's important to, combine these two leagues together because if you have two separate leagues, then, you might have talent, split up in two different places. But if you bring them all into one place, I think it could be that developmental league that, could lead directly to the NFL. So I think it's important. I think it's a smart move. And I think that, they said in the article that I read from ESPN that discussions, are just getting started, but I do believe that, they should continue and, try and get this done.
Absolutely. And let me read you guys this statement here. And this is from the Randy Ambrose. Hopefully I said his name right. Ambrosi, CFL commissioner. And he says, Canada has an exciting game and devoted fans, and our decision with the XFL provides a tremendous opportunity to build on that strong foundation. We look forward to exploring how we might work with one of the most innovative sports brands in the world to grow the game, engage fans in new ways, and reach new audiences. We look forward to seeing what possibilities are and our discussions might uncover and to share those with our fans as the process unfolds. Also, statement from Danny Garcia, the XFL chairwoman and owner. And she states, since we first acquired the XFL, we have focused on identifying partners who share our vision and values on and off the field. A vision filled with opportunity, innovation, and the highest level of entertainment value for the benefit of our athletes, fans, and communities. The CFL has expressed that similar sentiment, and jointly we recognize a great opportunity to build exciting, innovative football experiences that make the most of the league's unique strength. I look forward to our continued discussions, and we will update the sports community as we have more to share. And finally, the statement from Jeffrey Pollock, the XFL president and CEO. We are honored and excited to be in discussions with the CFL. It's clear through our early conversations that we share a passion for football, an expansive sense of possibility, and deep desire to create more opportunity for players and fans across North America and around the world. Blending the CFL's rich heritage with our fresh thinking and the unique reach and experience of our ownership could be transformative for the game. We look forward to learning more about what's possible together with the CFL and where our shared passion takes us. And guys, I think that bottom line, what they're saying is, yeah, there is nothing really official, nothing really, to go by saying, hey, look, we just started that conversation. We have that same interest. We want to build. Both of these leagues suffered a loss throughout the pandemic. Both of these lost a lot of money. And thankfully enough, the XFL has revived for the third time. This is the XFL 3.0. And they only had 8 teams to go by, right? So with that, the CFL only had 9 teams. So let's just say that we'll make it even with 8 in Canada, 8 in the United States. We have a 16-team league, which is a lot better than starting at the bare minimum. And to try to search for towns and stadiums and trying to get, season ticket holders and stuff like that. This is already set and it's matched up. So I love this part, man. I really do.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I do want to go back a little bit, maybe on my statement earlier, because you're right. I don't mean like AA, AAA. I don't necessarily mean like the G League. I'm thinking more so like AEW to WWE, solid competition who's makes their name. Bellator to UFC. There's a name there. They can build their own superstars, and they can. It just has a place, pretty much. It just has a place to be the offshoot of the main, which would be the NFL.
I like the share the statement with Thomas Doris, and he states, I could see it similar to Major League Baseball with the American and National Leagues. That is a great point there. CFL stays in Canada, play with the ratio and 3 downs in larger field. XFL US teams play with the US players 4 downs in smaller field. I mean, maybe they're all going to get together and find out something to where all the rules will apply, and hopefully they stick with the same rules as what had happened during the second the XFL 2.0. You know what I mean? So maybe things will change. Some of the dynamics might change or something like that. But like I said, hey, it's a work in progress. And another one is Daniel Hernandez. This is a great idea. Everyone wins, especially the fans. And this goes to the model that they came up with in 2020. It is, for the love of football. And that's been trending worldwide. Trending worldwide and everything else. And you're right. Everybody loves football. Football is now the top sport in America, and it's globally all the way around. Surpassing, in my opinion, surpassed baseball and basketball, right? But to see this happening, to see more guys have the opportunity. I mean, you only get like maybe barely 1% of people coming out of college to the pros. So this here, you have a higher percentage of making it to the league. So I love it. I hope that things will progress, and hopefully we see something in the future, because 2022 it is around the corner. I mean, we're already in March, getting ready for spring, getting ready for baseball. You know what I mean? So this is awesome. But hey, what is not awesome is this news here coming from University of Kansas. Les Miles is out as the head coach. And let me tell you more in detail. On Monday, March 8th, breaking news was spreading across the sports community that Les Miles is no longer the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks football team. Miles has been on the job since 2019. However, news surfaced about an investigation that happened back in 2013 when Miles was having inappropriate relationships with female students. Now, Miles had been a head coach at Oklahoma State from 2001 to 2004. There was some scrutiny about his management there. Then he went to LSU. And then, of course, this incident has happened, and he's been there since from 2005 to 2016. He 2 seasons only with Kansas, and, things weren't even pretty in Kansas. I mean, you look at his record, he was 3-9 the first year and 0-9 throughout this pandemic. So there was no progress. But the person that was responsible in hiring Les Miles was Jeff Long. And today, Jeff Long stepped down as the athletic director. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, whatever garbage you have back in the past, if it comes back and haunts you, you're going to pay the price. And that's the world we live in these days. So if I were you guys, behave. Don't do nothing bad. Don't say nothing stupid on social media, because everything that you do now is all scrutinized, right? Yeah. If you fart, everyone's going to hear it. I know it's messed up saying that way, but it's true. Look at how many celebrities have gotten in trouble for sexual misconduct, whether you're proven or not, And today, you were guilty no matter what. There's no innocent until proven guilty. It's all about, look, if your actions, people don't like it, if your shit stink, guess what? You're out. Plain and simple. This is a new generation, man. And I think what they call it is new Generation Z. Is that what I'm hearing? So everything's censored. I mean, look at the books. Like Dr. Seuss is in beginning trouble when he died already. You know what I mean? Like, they're not publishing books anymore. But like stuff like this, look, if you can't manage, right? If you can't manage your program and respect women in the industry, then you got no business being in there. And that's the bottom line, So should we feel sorrow or any sympathy for Les Miles and everything like that? Look, we don't know what's going on behind the scene. We don't know if Les Miles was actually legit in Kansas, but you know, Kansas doesn't want that reputation in their school because something that Les Miles has done somewhere else, and something had to be done. So right now, Kansas is looking for another new head coach. Now they have to find another athletic director. So do you expect Kansas not to bounce back from an 0-9 season? They might be 0-12 this upcoming season. And guess what? They're going to be playing Coastal Carolina this year. So I guess Coastal Carolina is going to make it 3 games in a row.
Yeah. I mean, we will see. It does suck because I thought Les Miles with that national championship under his belt, he was going to bring a little bit more prestige, a little bit more competition to the Big 12. I know only 2 seasons, not necessarily getting your recruits in and not necessarily getting your team around you. But when stuff like this comes up, you gotta kick them out, and that's what they did. The thing with college football nowadays, though, is this the end for Les Miles? I would love to say yes. Go, you got your national championship. You had your attempt at restarting something. Just go live your life. But who knows? He's probably going to be at like Eastern Tennessee or something like that. I mean, if a guy like Hugh Freeze can come back and work his way up to maybe possibly getting a Power 5 job again after what he did, Les Miles, he's in the same boat. This isn't anything we haven't seen in college football.
I have to disagree with you, man. Les Miles is done. He's done. No, look, this is the month of Women's History Month.
Yes.
Right? So it's like I said, in today's society, man, whatever you do in the past is gonna haunt you in the present, right? And being that it is a misconduct, a sexual misconduct, dude, you're pretty much finished as a head coach at any organization. You know, I don't think if there's anything, he might end up going to maybe a high school. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not gonna get a TV deal. You know what I mean? No matter where he goes, that's is always going to follow him. He's just going to have to find another way. And who knows what was the deal behind him stepping down? Did the university give him extra money? Did they buy out his contract for like maybe $20 million? I'm sure whatever has happened, he is set in the long run. Now we're gonna have to wait and see what the updated news is on that. But I'm sure that there's no sorrow when it comes to him stepping down. But hey, another topic here we have is Michigan's head coach Jim Harbaugh. Now, recently he had got a new contract in the offseason for an extension, and it goes all the way till I think 2025, if not I'm mistaken. But check it out. They asked the athletic director to see if there was any standards, goals, or anything else like that. Is there a criteria? And he admitted there is no win criteria. There's no set win for Jim Harbaugh. They're going to take their time to make sure that this program is going to be that Michigan football that was known from the past. Now, he does have a new staff. Of course, the goal is always to win. But I think the bigger goal on all this is, can you beat Ohio State? That's basically it. Look, Jim Harbaugh has a winning season, except for the pandemic, 2020. And if I was everybody else, I would just delete that season, to be honest with you. I would delete it, because there was a lot of ups and downs in that season. Players not healthy. Who's going to start? Who's this? There's a lot of transfers, exactly. So 2020, I don't count that against Jim Harbaugh, but this is what I'm going to count this year. Because, look, they got a quarterback coach, Matt Weiss, who left the Baltimore Ravens organization to be a quarterback's coach in Michigan. Okay? So he has that experience. So we'll see what's going to happen there. We got Mike Hart, who is a former Michigan player who was a star running back. He is a running backs coach. And then you got Mike McDonald and Maurice Linguist that's going to be co-defensive coordinators. So there's going to be a lot of changes going on in that staff. And the question to ask you is, are they going to be legit this upcoming year? What do you say, Sean?
I personally don't think that they are. I think we're going to see more of what we saw last season. Obviously, the defense, they started off pretty well, but they struggled a lot down the stretch. And Don Brown usually has them playing good, but I just don't think that they're great right now. And then obviously the offense, I think they need to find their quarterback. I just don't have a lot of trust in them right now. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh. It makes sense that they say that they're giving him time. I think that it's obvious that they're being patient with them, but at some point, you got to beat Ohio State. That's obviously the big rival, and I just don't think they're anywhere near that point right now. Obviously, every year they have pretty good recruiting classes, but we just don't see it, develop on the field. So um, I I think Michigan's in the same boat every year. I think that they might go 8-4, 9-3, make a bowl game, but they're going to end up losing to Ohio State, and I just don't think they could win those big games. And until they prove me wrong, I'm gonna think the same thing of them Wolverines. So I think that they're going to continue to struggle this year, though.
Well, I tell you what, if there's anything that they need improving is the offensive line. Offensive line, they didn't give enough time for the quarterback to throw. There's no word of who's actually going to be the starting quarterback, whether it's going to be McNamara or Dan Villari, if I'm saying his name right. But I know McNamara has been the guy that they're pushing to be the starter. But then will Ronnie Bell and Gauss Jackson, will they be able to be disciplined enough to know their assignments, to get open and to get the ball? Or is it Blake Corum or Haskins, the running backs? Can they make that effort to help out with that offense? Because look, bottom line is that they couldn't score enough points, and then they couldn't even drive the ball. They looked like the NFL New York Giants, to be honest with you. They couldn't move the ball, a lot of 3-and-outs, and guess what? Their defense was left on the field majority of the time, So I think that was the biggest downfall. So if they could build that offensive line to help out, I think Michigan's in good shape. But I still feel like they don't have enough talent as to Ohio State.
No, not at all. I think Harbaugh. I love Harbaugh, but I think right now he's more of like a coordinator. I think on a team, his coaching style, it's too old school. We're in the age of the offense. We're in the age of scoring a bunch of points, especially in college football. And he is very defensive minded. He likes to control the clock, and I don't think that's going to work well. And also, looking at this schedule, it's pretty rough. On the road at Wisconsin. On the road at Nebraska, I know Nebraska hasn't been that great, but they do have a stud in Christian McCaffrey's younger brother who will break out this year, I think. And then on the road at Happy Valley against Penn State, and then obviously the big game, Ohio State. That's at home for them. But I think they're going to struggle. I don't see anything more than 7 wins from this team, and it's going to be the same conversation that we're going to have. Is Jim Harbaugh out? Is he still going to be the coach next year? It's going to be the same because Michigan isn't going to be able to get back to what they were.
If you're mentioning about Jim Harbaugh, if he's going to be there next year, I think that story's already tapped out. We already know he's going to be there for another 2 years or so. He's going to have to show progression. He's going to be there this year, of course, because he's going to coach. He'll be there guaranteed the following year. And the athletic director said, look, if by any chance Harbaugh let's say that they don't have a winning season. If Harbaugh doesn't produce, he'll be fired along with the athletic director. That's what's going to really happen. And then the big bosses are going to find a new athletic director to try to drive this university to another direction. Now, it's going to take time, of course. I think it's too much time. I think he's been there, 5 years already?
I don't think the AD is getting fired, though. Look at what bringing in Juwan Howard and Michigan for basketball's done. I don't necessarily think Jim Harbaugh is going to be the reason the AD gets fired.
Why? He is responsible for hiring Harbaugh. He had an opportunity to get another head coach, but he's sticking with Harbaugh. He has a contract extension. And there is some bonuses at the end. He's going to get, if I'm not mistaken, $4 million each season. But if they make the playoffs or any other incentives, it could go up and it could double, right? So, yes, his salary went down, but he can still make that up if they make some progress. So we see from there, man. But it's going to be interesting. It really is. But, hey, that's college football. It's going to start in the first weekend of September. We got quite a while away. But, however, in April, and it's coming next month, we have the NFL draft. And yes, the NFL draft is coming. And I am so excited to see. There's a lot of turbulence going on when it comes to free agency and trades and stuff like that. And the closer we get to the draft, we will see which of these top college football superstars will be and which team. And that'll be coming up with our draft. That'll be in first week of April. So I'm telling you guys right now, our next episode will be in a couple of weeks. So I'm excited to the road to the NFL draft. Which player? I mean, already who's going to be the number one pick. But I'm just curious about what happens between 15 and 32 because I think they have an advantage in this year's NFL draft. What do you think, Sean?
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the most is that number 11 pick. Obviously, us all being Giants fans. I mean, I want a receiver real bad. So if we end up getting Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle dropped to us, then I will be loving that. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And then I just think the QBs, that whole situation will be fun to watch. I think and a lot of mock drafts I've seen lately, Mac Jones has been rising up the board. I know Joe would love that if he was on the show today. But I mean, I think Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. I think there's a good chance that we might get 4, maybe even 5 in the first top 10. Usually, this time of year, you see a lot of QBs trending upwards. So I think that we'll see more of that coming forward. And I would love that because that would mean, a couple more spots for the Giants to go to get a receiver. So that's really what I want to see. But it's going to be a fun draft, and I'm looking forward to these next couple of weeks. And with the pro days, a lot of the pro days are coming up. I know that Clemson has their pro day tomorrow. So I'm sure with some of these 40 times and some of these numbers, some of these guys' draft stock will rise. So and that usually happens this time of year. Usually with about a month ago before the draft. You see a lot of rising and falling with these guys' draft stocks. So it's gonna be a fun month. Looking forward to this one.
Outstanding, me too. But hey, you mentioned Devontae Smith. We're gonna see some highlights here and sign off with our show. So guys, thank you for coming in to All 4 Downs. And until next time, check it out.
Has got 2 today. Mac Jones to the back corner. Touchdown, Alabama. And it's Devontae Smith. Again. And they'll keep the clock moving. They hand it off to Smith. Beautiful play call. All kinds of running room. And an Alabama touchdown. The red zone, Alabama with 3 minutes and change remaining in the half. Jones fires to the corner. Devontae Smith. Touchdown, Alabama. Slot, 2nd down and 9. Mac Jones, pressure coming from behind. The lob to the end zone. Devontae Smith. Touchdown. Raving about the way Sark uses his personnel. Using Smith for a touchdown. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
Can you believe it?
It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years.
Fires. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. It's over. The Red Sox have won the world championship.
Tune in to the newest show presented by Clovercrest Media. It's Obie's Backstop Podcast. Catch it twice a week, every Red Sox series finale on your favorite podcast platform.